What's up, everyone? Welcome back to SpoatsTalks episode 3.
Before we start this episode, we want to thank our sponsor, Airbud World Pup. It's perfect. Perfect. All right, and but for real, before we start this episode, we haven't posted an episode in about 3 weeks, and we just wanted to say a little bit why. And so we had finals, and then winter break, and so we went home to see our families and everything. And we all apologize for not recording. We're just really busy, spending time with family and stuff. But now that we are back at school, we're back with a vengeance. Isn't that right, boys?
Hell
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's start this episode off.
All right, we'll be recapping Wild Card Weekend because who cares about week 16 and 17, right?
True.
The first game on the schedule was Houston versus Buffalo, and Houston ended up winning the game in overtime, 22-19.
That was actually a good game. Houston.
It was a very good game.
What, the Bills were up 16-0?
Yes,
in the third quarter?
they were. They were the Houston's offense couldn't do anything because the stranglehold from the Bills' defense.
Mm-hmm.
The Houston defense was all out of whack and shape. They didn't know what the hell to do.
Deshaun Watson was just getting pressured every possession.
Yes, if it wasn't Trent Murphy, it was Jerry Hughes.
Yeah.
They were all over him.
He was incredible this game. The way he shows up in big games, it was obvious at Clemson, and it's even more obvious in the NFL. Like, it's just part of his game that he's going to come up clutch.
That first rushing touchdown he had when he was they first grabbed him at the 5-yard line, but he fought for the touchdown. I think that just shows his impact for this team and what he means to this organization as a whole. Mm-hmm. And they could go a far way in the playoffs.
They could. If their offense stays hot, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up beating Kansas City.
I agree.
And then, of course, when the defense needed to show something, the one man who was unstoppable was the one who would change. I think as soon as J.J. Watt got that sack, it changed the game.
Game changer.
Even the commentators someone on this defense needs to step up. As soon as he said that, I see him just break the right tackle. I'm like, oh boy.
Did you see
better hold on, Josh Allen, because you're about to get rocked.
Did you see T.J. Watt's reaction? His brother.
Yeah, he was jumping up and down. He was so happy.
He tweeted right at that point. He tweeted sack.
Yeah, I saw that. It's just a camera was just focused on him. He was just on his phone, just typing.
All right, and talking about the Bills, we're going to talk about the Bills just for a second here. I knew they weren't going to go far in the playoffs. Their offense is still a year away.
Offense
and Josh Allen is still a year away at least.
Offense is just
I think next year they're a real playoff contender this year. All right, next year they will be, not this year.
Especially if they keep that stranglehold defense the way it is.
First half, Josh Allen played fantastic. His receiving touchdown. And then the third and fourth quarter, he started making questionable plays. I don't know if you guys saw the backwards lateral kind of thing he did.
No, I didn't see that. I wasn't paying attention to that point.
It was awful. You got to find it. It was completely awful. I was watching the game, and he just chucked the ball up when he was being tackled, and it could have been picked up by the other team. Thank God it wasn't for his case, because that's what ended up getting them into overtime. But he made some definitely questionable calls in that fourth quarter.
They need to reel in him. I think that's a big problem is that he starts playing hero ball.
Yeah.
And they just need to keep him in a game manager role for now. Yes, he has a big arm. Yes, he's mobile. He's a big guy. But they just need to keep him in the game manager role while he develops because he's still very raw.
Yeah. Plus, they need actual wide receivers. They have Cole Beasley. He's got sauce.
John Brown's fast.
Yeah, but he can't catch a damn thing. And then Duke Williams he showed off in the playoffs. That Auburn guy, holy crap. Yeah. He caught almost every pass, and they were all contested. I was like, dang, this dude's got potential. I'm like, this guy's got potential. But the rest of the receiver, who else is on the Bills? You got John Brown, who's fast. That's about it. You have
That's pretty much it.
Duke Williams, who can catch, and you have Cole Beasley, who's their best receiver overall.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a tight end. You don't have any other wideouts.
Devin Singletary had a great game.
Oh yeah, he was going off.
So
Like I
he was
remember, he would get like 5 Texans on him, and he'd just keep going.
exactly.
Be like, can you bring this man down?
Exactly.
All right, on to the next game. Next game was Tennessee versus New England.
Yes.
Oh my god,
And
loved it.
personally,
Oh,
I'm not surprised Tennessee beat New England. New England just didn't look right this year.
I'm not
And I
either.
don't think they're going to look right next year because Tom Brady might be on his way out.
He can go anywhere. Unrestricted free agent.
It's true. It's possible he could leave New England. I don't see it happening, but
Yeah, I don't either.
I think I could see it happening because I could see him being fed up with the Patriots, like not surrounding him with even decent players, and kind of giving him a 1-year contract that was hidden as a 3-year contract. Like he might be fed up with the Patriots, and the Patriots might need to move on because Tom Brady might not be Tom Brady anymore.
it's true. He's like 42.
And he looked like he aged 10 years in this past season.
He did, yeah.
He's basically Peyton Manning in 2015 at this point.
It was their worst season in about a decade.
First time they didn't make a bye in the first round since 2009.
Which is just crazy.
So, we might be seeing the end of the dynasty.
It's true.
I think we are.
I think it's on its last. I think it's on its last legs,
going downhill,
and it's all falling apart. Because if Belichick, he's gonna retire soon. He's like, I've held the dynasty together for almost fucking 20 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go and do it again with a new QB and restart. I've done it. I've won 6 rings. I've built the greatest teams of all time. I don't have anything else to do. So I can see him retiring very soon, like within the next few years.
I could too.
I think it all depends on Brady. If Brady stays, I think they'll go 1 more year together. But if Brady leaves, Belichick might be like,
I don't think Belichick's going to retire this year.
I don't think he'll retire. Yeah, I think he'll retire in the next 5 years.
Yeah, next 5 years. But
easily.
This year, definitely not. I think he's got to try it with a new quarterback if Brady leaves. But
yeah. But as much as I hate them, you have to respect what they've done. And how long they've been able to keep it going, especially in a salary cap age. So as much as I hate them, and I'm glad it's over. Congrats, Patriots! You did good.
All right, let's talk about these Titans for a few minutes because Ryan Tannehill beat Tom Brady, going 8 for 15 for 72 yards, a touchdown to Anthony Firkser out of Harvard, and 1 awful interception.
It was basically Derrick Henry.
It was the Derrick.
It was the Derrick Henry show.
Yeah,
it was.
Like
34 carries, 182 yards, and another catch for 22.
Yeah. Tannehill didn't play good. 72 yards.
He did not.
No. Pretty awful. Derrick Henry got the ball 34 times, which is just insane.
I know.
He just kept going though. Like you couldn't stop him.
He did.
With
a back like Henry, you just once you get to the fourth quarter, you can't tackle him because he's just so big and so intense.
Yeah.
And everyone's so tired at this point.
Yeah.
And he's kind of tired, but he's like, yeah, I can still truck you.
Yeah, it's true.
And then when Derrick Henry's like, okay, I need a break, they just put in Dion Lewis and they just throw him the ball and he just runs about the same.
Mm.
Dion Lewis actually only had 1 catch in the game.
Oh, well.
Because it was all Derrick Henry. But Ryan Tannehill only completed 8 passes. So
that's true. It was a very defensive game.
Yeah.
But they didn't need Tannehill to do much. Like they just kept handing it off to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, the Patriots didn't score in the second half.
No, well, I mean, except the part where they threw a pick 6. I guess that kind of counts, right?
They didn't score for their own team in the second half. So,
although Brady did throw 209 yards, that's not bad. Even though they still lost.
But off 37 attempts, that's close to 5 yards
Yeah.
an attempt.
True. It was
And
a
they're
lot of checkdowns.
definitely not a rushing team. So
Definitely.
Oh my
not.
God. Derrick Henry averaged 5.4 yards a carry.
He was unstoppable last week.
Jesus Christ.
All right, moving on. Okay, so it's the Minnesota-New Orleans game.
oh, here we go.
Ah, yes.
Let me speak. Let me speak.
All right, we'll
Okay.
let you go first, so then Hunter and I
Let
will
me speak.
come in later.
As a Saints fan, seeing how the Saints played in the first half, I am not surprised that we lost. The Saints didn't look ready. They were thoroughly outplayed by the Vikings, and it shouldn't have even gone into overtime, honestly. Like, yeah, they got hot in the second half, but they just did not look like they were ready to compete. Like, they just showed up without practicing, without whatever. Like, there's something definitely off. And yeah, Taysom Hill had a big day, but you know, if a gadget player has a big day, that's not going to win you a game. And yes, Kyle Rudolph did push off, but they didn't double team him. They put like some 4'11" corner on him.
Plus,
Like,
there's a lot of
no
hand
way.
contact during that as well. So
Even
you
if
kind
he
of
let him
didn't
let him
push
speak.
off,
Let him speak.
Sorry, I was
Let
just
him
saying.
speak.
even if he didn't push off, he still would have caught it because the Saints decided not to double team Kyle Rudolph, the 6'6" tight end.
Mhm.
All right, that's all I have to say.
Man, was I happy to see this?
Yeah,
game.
same here, dude. Oh my God. Can we just say, is the Vikings the Saints' kryptonite?
I guess in the playoffs it is.
This is 2 times now that the Saints have been stopped on a Super Bowl run with really good teams because of the Vikings. First time we had the Minneapolis Miracle in 2018. That was awesome. And now we have the overtime win as well. Vikings, whatever you're doing, man, keep it up.
Honestly,
I
being
want the
Saints-
Vikings to play the Saints every single playoff round, ever.
And going back to Taysom Hill, like Taysom Hill is probably my favorite player on the Saints. Him and Breeze, you know,
Oh
I
my
hate the
gosh.
Saints, but I like those two guys. Like I respect them too. And what Taysom Hill's doing out there is fantastic, but that's not the kind of guy that can be carrying a team.
No.
No.
So the rest of the team has to step up, and like he can get momentum for his team, but he can't be the only one producing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put Taysom out there for like a change of pace. You know, try and get some of the game flow back in your favor. Some of the momentum.
There it is.
There it is. But if you're relying on him to carry the game, it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
And I know Sean Payton is talking about how, you know, Taysom Hill could be the future starter after Drew Brees retires, but I just don't think he's talented enough as a thrower.
No.
I agree.
I like what they're doing with him now, with the whole put him as a wide receiver, running back, special teams.
Anything.
Yeah, anywhere. Offensive lineman.
I mean, and I think when we go back to those few weeks, Drew Brees was injured and Teddy Bridgewater played. Teddy Bridgewater did great.
Yeah, he was on fire.
He was fantastic. So I don't think Taysom Hill should be looking at the next option right now.
But that's if the Saints can keep Bridgewater from this offseason.
That's true.
I think he's leaving. I think he's like, I'm
think
ready to be the starter again. I think I proved it. No,
he proved himself.
Thank you, Saints, for allowing me to have this opportunity, but I need to go lead a team.
I think he's got the talent to be a starter, but I don't think he's going to be a starter by next season. I just don't think there's a lot of quarterbacks on the market next season.
Oh my gosh, a lot.
And like when I think about it, there's not that many teams looking for a quarterback. Like there's a few, and there's a good amount, but like not for everyone. Like some people are going to be left to play on the bench.
Yeah,
and that's just where I see Bridgewater.
Plus, you have all the new QBs coming in too, like Joe Burrow and Tua and Justin Herbert
and the Heisman.
If Personally, I think I could see Teddy Bridgewater not getting signed for a while and then signing like a 1 year, $10 million contract to the Bucks, just in case Jameis Winston explodes again.
I can see that.
I think Bruce Arians is already saying that he's gonna move on
from Winston.
I think
so.
I think they franchise tag him and stick him around for another year.
Yeah.
I don't know, 30 for 30, like.
He can throw the touchdowns, but he can throw the interceptions too.
Right, we're getting off topic. All right, last game of Wild Card Weekend was Seattle versus Philadelphia. Seattle ended up winning the game 17-9.
This game's a lot closer than it should have been.
It should have been
a blowout. Yeah.
This was the one game I didn't watch live, but I saw the Carson Wentz when he got injured, and Josh McCown came in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read today, Josh McCown was actually playing with a torn hamstring.
He's playing on a torn hamstring.
Yeah, which is just incredible, and he's 40 years old.
Wait, he was playing on a torn hamstring, and he was running like that?
Yeah.
He was throwing his body out, like he was trucking people. He was like, I do not care. I'm going to throw myself into you for extra yardage.
His last pure game was a playoff game, and he played through an injury. Like, that's a good way to go out.
He did do pretty good.
Yeah, he did do good.
He threw for 174 yards and no picks. No touchdowns either, but no picks.
And considering Philadelphia's receiver core consisted of a converted tight end and some guy they picked up off the street, I think he played really good.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised Philadelphia didn't score a touchdown, but the Seahawks should have scored at least 30.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Marshall Lynch scored a touchdown.
Yeah, he did. That was it was a good one too. He had to run through 4 people.
Are they just not using who's their running back before Marshall Lynch came? It was
Chris Carson is hurt.
No, they're all hurt. Chris Carson's out for the season.
I didn't hear about that.
Rashad Penny's out for the season, and the third guy. Who's the third guy?
Doesn't matter.
He's also out, so they had to go and sign Lynch just to get someone for running back.
Yeah, I got you.
And they had Travis Homer, some guy they also found on the street.
11 attempts for 12 yards.
Yep.
It's 6 or 7 for Lynch. But he did get a touchdown.
True. But I think the one player who did have a good game above everyone else,
DK Metcalf.
Exactly.
160
easily could have had 250
receiving yards, 22 average with a touchdown. He was popping off.
And the icing catch.
Yes.
Philadelphia could not contain him. I'm not surprised he had 160. He could have easily got 250.
I'm still surprised he fell to the 3rd round when the draft came. I thought he was going 1st round.
He fell to the last pick of the 2nd round.
Yeah, what? The Seahawks got lucky there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I think he's good. I think he's really good. He's definitely got the physicality. But the Eagles secondary just isn't good too.
Well, yeah, because everybody's injured.
Yeah, but even when they're not injured, it's still just not that good.
True. Since the Super Bowl, they haven't been that good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help when half of your team is in the hospital.
Exactly. But I wonder how much that contributed to DK Metcalf.
I'm sure it contributed quite a bit.
Yeah. Will we see this again from him?
Maybe.
Anytime soon?
Who knows?
Maybe Russell Wilson will start looking at him more often.
Mm-hmm. I think DK Metcalf will be a very good role player. I just don't think he has the change of speed or the route running to ever be a star. I think he'll be a really good number 2.
I could see that, yeah.
The double team of him and Tyler Lockett.
It's incredible.
And then, of course, David Moore being that third guy's is he good? Kind of, but he's good enough to, sneak out and always do pretty decently.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody forgets about him. They're like
He
focus,
is
Lockett,
the
and
definition of a
Metcalf.
wide receiver 3.
Yeah, he is. Everybody's like, focus
All right.
Metcalf, focus Lockett, and then they're like,
Yeah.
wait, what about this dude, 83? It's like, oh, he's probably garbage. Nobody's even ever heard of him. Boom, touchdown immediately.
That's true. All right, moving on. Divisional round games. Playing tomorrow at 4:35 p.m. We have the Minnesota Vikings versus the San Fran Niners.
Hell yeah, let's
What are you guys
go.
thinking?
Niners all the way. Jimmy G, playoff time. It is happening. He's going to take the world by storm. Just watch it happen. He plays good in big games. Everyone,
Mm-hmm.
he played good against the Saints. Remember that game? He was great against the Saints. We beat the Packers. We beat the Saints. We beat the Seahawks. We also lost to the Seahawks, but then we beat them again. Beat them the second time.
I was about to say, he lost it the first time.
Yeah. The game we lost to against the Ravens was by like 3, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
it was the Justin Tucker last second field goal.
Yeah. Like the Vikings have definitely impressed me this season. Kirk Cousins especially.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the Saints game, but I think the 49ers are going to be able to get to a pocket passer like Kirk Cousins.
I think so too. I think this game will be pretty low scoring because the offenses, are ball control. They run the ball. I don't think it'll be a blowout in San Fran's favor because the Vikings are a very tough team.
Yeah,
I think
that
San
defense
Francisco will
is
pull off a win.
ferocious.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking each team is going to score under 24. Like it's going to be a very slow running the ball, or not a very slow, very fast game because of the ball control offenses that are playing.
It's going to chew clock.
Although I see my boy Deebo Samuel breaking out this game with the Niners.
I feel like George Kittle is just going to have a great game. His first playoff game.
Oh yeah, they could not stop Jared Cook, the Vikings.
Yeah.
So imagine what Kittle's gonna do.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. The game at 8:15 p.m. on Saturday, January 11th. Tennessee versus Baltimore. This is another very similar game to Minnesota versus San Fran. Not only is it 1 versus 6, I think it's also going to be a very fast game. 2 ball control offense again. They're going to run the ball. I think again it'll be pretty close because Tennessee is a pretty tough team, especially with Ryan Tannehill in there. But I think Baltimore is going to pull it off.
Both of these quarterbacks have limited playoff experience, barely any. Tannehill played his first game, and then didn't Lamar Jackson play against the Chargers last year in the second half?
Yes.
I think Lamar Jackson. He's just having a great year, a fantastic year.
He's
and
having
an MVP year.
Yeah, MVP year, obviously. I think just him and that Baltimore, they're going to be able to, take over the Titans.
Yeah. No team has a better combination of players and play calling than the Ravens.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, they're a buzzsaw at this rate.
Mm-hmm. All right, that was that. All right, moving on. On Sunday, January 12th at 3:05 p.m., Houston versus Kansas City.
That's a tough one to call. I'm gonna go with Kansas City's gonna win that one though.
I have to agree.
I am as well.
And honestly, for me, it just comes down to that, seeing the Bills being able to score 16-0 against them in the first half, that O-line was not being able to hold up anything. So I feel like Kansas, they're a better offensive team. So even if Houston does start coming back, I feel like the better offensive team in Kansas over the Bills will be able to stop them.
I think so too. I think the problem with the Texans is they're too streaky. They'll either be really good or really bad, and we saw both of those in Buffalo, and they somehow managed to pull off the win. But
True.
I think Buffalo should have won that game. And, you know, Kansas City's offense with Andy Reid is always going to be at least passable.
True. And the thing about Deshaun Watson is he's a fantastic quarterback, but sometimes he holds on to the ball too long because he's trying to make a big play.
Yeah.
And his O-line just isn't good enough to be able to, for him to be able to do that.
Yeah.
No,
and so then he ends up
leaves
getting
the
sacked.
pocket, and so he's always like right there from getting sacked.
Exactly.
I think this game, it's either going to be really close or it's going to be complete
one-sided
decimation.
Yeah.
Completely one-sided. It depends on which Houston offense shows up. And you never know.
And their defense as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that against the Bills.
Their defense was hot and cold. They started off cold, but then they got off
Their
hot.
whole team is hot. Their whole team is hot and cold.
Exactly. Their theme song is Katy Perry, Hot and Cold.
There it is.
It really is.
They should play that for every game.
I think this last game, though, Seahawks versus Packers at 6:40 on Sunday, I think that's going to be a very interesting game.
I think this will be a game as well where the Packers, they need to prove that the only reason they're 13-3 is not because they got bailed out because of talent. When you look at this team, if you know the YouTuber Your Nature, he's completely right. This team, yes, they're 13-3, yes, they get great stats, but for the whole game, it's always close, and they always pull out because of some talent magic at the end. And I think that it's going to catch up to them in this game. I think the Seahawks are going to win this one.
I think so, too. I think Aaron Rodgers isn't the same Aaron Rodgers we're used to seeing. And having no receiving talent outside Devontae Adams is going to hurt. Like, Marquez Valdes-Scantling is dog shit.
Damn.
Jimmy Graham is old.
True.
And Alan Lazard, he has a good passer rating when targeted, but he's a first-year undrafted player. Like, you can't count on him always, especially in his first playoff game.
Agreed.
And if they can somehow shut down Devontae Adams, like, they're completely screwed.
And then he just starts throwing to his running backs.
I read something the other day, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It was basically Russell Wilson is 0-3 at
Lambeau.
He is. I read that I think yesterday.
Well, I think he'll be 1-3 after this game because I just don't think the Packers are contenders.
I don't know how they're the third seed.
The second seed.
Second seed, yeah. Second seed.
Was it because did they lose the Saints?
Yeah, and Saints somehow got screwed.
That is odd. I don't know. I think Seahawks are still going
to too
show
flat.
that this team is a fake Super Bowl contender.
It is.
I think the Packers are heading in the right direction finally. I mean, they were held a lot better this year than they were last year, but I still don't think that they're there. I think that that record just shows like who they went up against and how they won their games.
Yeah.
Like the Panthers, they only won because it was last second they stopped McCaffrey from crossing the goal line. Mm-hmm. So I remember
that's when the Panthers gave up.
That was about around the time that they started falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
I also think well, Seahawks are going to win, but the fact that the Seahawks are the 5th seed is just mind-boggling. Like, they're a better team than the Packers. They're the 5th seed, though, and they only have one – the Packers only have one more win.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty – like, it's
NFC
hard for me to wrap my head around them. Yeah.
The NFC this year was just absolutely insane. All right, and that's your divisional round.
There it is. So, what were our predictions? 49ers, Ravens, Chiefs, and Seahawks?
Yeah.
So, it'd be 49ers versus Seahawks, and then Ravens versus Chiefs in the conference championships.
All right. And let's do a quick Super Bowl prediction. Bar, who do you think's going into the Super Bowl and who's going to win it?
I still don't think we've seen enough, but I'm going to call Ravens and 49ers.
All right. Who goes out on top?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I think the 49ers should pull it off.
Hell yeah.
Hunter?
I think the 49ers are going to beat the Seahawks. And then I see the Ravens beating the Chiefs. And then I just see the 49ers being able to, get their revenge on the Ravens and the... What about you, Jace?
It's tricky because I think the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. I think they're just too well-rounded. But I think that the Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens.
Dude,
I think the Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl. And the 49ers will end up coming out on top in a shootout.
I don't like that run defense that the Chiefs have.
No, it's god-awful.
And we're looking at the best rushing quarterback in the NFL right now.
And with a very good running back at his side as well.
That's true. But I have a good feeling about the Chiefs this year. I think they're going to the Super Bowl.
I could see it.
I don't think that defense is good enough.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's too shoddy. Now, yes, the Chiefs did beat the Ravens in regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not even taking that into consideration.
Yeah,
because
you can't. Cause
the Ravens haven't figured out themselves yet. Yeah. But the Chiefs have gotten hot at the right time. The defense is playing really well. And I think the Ravens are going to be too cocky going into that game.
I think for the Chiefs to win that game, it would have to be a very high-scoring game because I could see the Ravens scoring on most of their drives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that passing game for Patrick Mahomes, it's going to have to be a touchdown almost every single drive for them to win.
And since Patrick Mahomes, it could definitely happen.
It definitely could.
Although the Ravens have a hell of a lot better defense than the Chiefs.
It's true.
Even with them losing a lot of key players in the offseason, they still are fantastic this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk about the Pro Bowl?
Yes, let's.
Okay, yeah.
Each person give your biggest Pro Bowl snub. All right. So my biggest Pro Bowl snub from this year's Pro Bowl is tight end from the Oakland Raiders, Darren Waller.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I was just about to. I was thinking of that one.
Make the Pro Bowl.
That man went off.
90 receptions, 1,145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He had a lot of issues early on in his career with the Ravens. He got released, converted to tight end, went to the Raiders and cleaned himself up. And what do you know? He was their best player on offense.
By a mile, in my opinion, he was their best.
And I think the biggest reason he wasn't selected to the Pro Bowl is he only had 3 touchdowns, which is low for a starting tight end. But considering he was one of the leading tight ends in receiving yards and his story, I think he should have made the Pro Bowl.
There also were a lot of good tight ends this year.
There were.
Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews both had great years, and they were the AFC Pro Bowl selections in tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
But Darren Waller's, he's right up there. Or he should be anyway.
If they had a third spot, he would have definitely made it.
Yeah. Bar, you want to do your Pro Bowl snub now?
I honestly don't know a snub currently. I mean, I mainly focus on the NFC side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of these guys deserve to be there. It's hard to think of a snub that should be on this list.
I mean, someone else that came to mind for me is also on the Oakland Raiders. Josh Jacobs, their rookie running back, had a great year.
That's true.
I think there is a lot of good running backs in the league right now. So
That's true.
I wouldn't put him above anyone, but he's still a fantastic player. And for his rookie year, he's definitely in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. So he would probably be somewhere on my list for a snub.
Yeah. A good NFC player who didn't make the Pro Bowl this year is Kenny Golladay.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Touchdowns, hit over 1,000 yards.
That's true.
And yet, since he was on the free 12-1 Detroit Lions, he completely forgotten about and did not make it.
There it is.
Yeah, Kenny Golladay is a beast. Honestly, so Mike Evans is not going because he's injured.
I thought of another one. Aaron Jones for the Packers.
Oh wait, is he not on
make
here?
The Pro Bowl?
He's not on there. No.
Whoa.
He should be.
He should be.
Who'd they take over him? McCaffrey, obviously.
Yeah, he's definitely the best running back in the
They
league
took
this year.
Dalvin Cook, McCaffrey, and Zeke.
How did Zeke do this year? I didn't really pay attention much to him. Ezekiel Elliott stats. I'm gonna look and see how he did this year.
But Aaron Jones was a great running back.
Oh, he had 1,300 rushing yards. Zeke did,
Yeah.
So he did pretty good. And 12 touchdowns.
When the NFC running backs are so stacked like that, it's hard to make the Pro Bowl, even if you're a really good player.
That's true. Running back at all in either division or either conference.
Mm-hmm. All right, that was that.
Aaron Jones, he had 1,000 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think the touchdowns alone is enough. And I think he had a couple more receiving touchdowns, so it was actually around 19.
There it is. All right, is that everything?
Yeah, no, we got head coaches.
Oh, head coaches, yes.
So we've had the Cowboys, the Panthers, and the Giants, weirdly all NFC, get new head coaches. The Browns are still looking, and they're still talking to people. The Cowboys signed Mike McCarthy, which I think, well, yes, he's better than Jason Garrett, but I still don't think is that really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was the best signing they could have gotten, really. Because, they're not in a rebuild. They don't need a coach that wants to rebuild them. They just need to have a coach that's, can actually get them a playoff win.
That's true.
The Giants got fucked by the Panthers. Panthers signed Matt Rule from the Baylor Bears.
Baylor's head coach, yep.
For 7 years, $60 million with a $70 million potential.
Damn.
And then because of that, the Giants wanted Matt Rule. In fact, they wanted him so bad that they had headlines out all the time talking about how they wanted him. Instead, since the Panthers stole him, they got the Patriots wide receiver coach.
They got Joe Judge.
And special team coordinator.
Oh my god. Giants, Jesus Christ. For once, can y'all actually just do... You could have gone after Kevin Stefanski from the Vikings.
I would have much preferred Kevin Stefanski.
I think that Kevin Stefanski would make a great head coach. But no, they go with the worst part of the Patriots. And it's the Patriots. Has their head coaches ever worked out? Josh McDaniels was terrible when he was with the Broncos. What's that guy's name? Matt's the head coach for the Lions? Well, they suck.
Patricia.
He's terrible.
Yep.
Just do not get a Patriots coach as your head coach. It will not work. Unless it's Bill Belichick. But you can't get him.
I think it was a bad hire. I don't think he's going to win Super Bowl for the Giants, but I think the Giants were kind of looking for a well-rounded, physicality-based coach to kind of usher in a new era because Pat Shurmur was awful.
Yeah, he was terrible.
So I think they're trying to look to switch it up. But what's wrong with Robert Saleh of the 49ers?
Yeah, you could have gotten so many better options. I mean, yes, the Panthers did kind of fuck you over. You had Matt Rule as like your number one guy, but the Panthers came and got him. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. There's other really talented people out there that you could go and get, but instead you freak out and you get someone from the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, has Joe Judge even ever been like an actual like head coach or coordinator or anything? Like special teams,
he's the special teams coordinator.
But he has never been the head coach of anything.
Yeah. The Patriots special teams were very good this year, but
they were. Well, they're always pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. And he's a big part of that, but I just don't think he was the right guy.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And then Matt Rule for the Panthers
I like that hire.
As a Panthers fan, I can't say anything currently because you never know. Do I like the hire? Yes, but the only part I'm worried about is the whole coming in from college.
Yeah.
Because it's completely different. You go from head coaching guys living off of meal swipes and just doing this to get scholarships to guys with millions of dollars in their pockets thinking they're the top shit. So that's the only part I'm worried about. But what he's done in college, he took Temple from being a nobody to somebody after he rebuilt that program. And then he took Baylor, who was in the absolute pits of hell. I mean, everything was wrong with Baylor, both off the field and on the field. Nothing was working, and he came completely 180 that after 2 seasons, and he was 1 win away from making the playoffs.
Yep.
So if that doesn't tell you something, then damn. Hopefully he can bring the same success to the Panthers. So I currently have a good feeling. I hope the whole college thing doesn't fuck it up, though.
I mean, I think he was the best signing of the 3.
Oh, yeah, easily.
I think so.
Easily the best signing of the 3.
All right, who do you think the Browns are going to hire?
They'll probably... Oh, you can't predict that, Chase. They're the Browns.
Jason Garrett.
Yes. Yes. No, Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis.
You know, he interviewed with the Cowboys.
Pat Shurmur.
No, what if you get...
No, they won't do that.
Marvin Lewis is their head coach, so they'll never win a playoff game. Pat Shurmur as their offensive coordinator, and Jason Garrett's their defensive coordinator.
Oh, my.
Even though Jason Garrett's an offensive guy.
I think, on a serious note, I think they're going to hire Josh McDaniels.
Which is... No, it'll be like the Titans. They'll hire Josh McDaniels, and then he'll back out the last second and rejoin the Patriots again.
Considering how bad the Patriots offense this year, and his stint in Denver, and then the shit he pulled in Indy, like it's just not going to be a good hire. But Jimmy Haslam's going to do it. Jimmy Haslam won.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think they should hire Kevin Stefanski. I think if I was the Browns, that's the top guy on my board. Because he's an offensive coordinator who was the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. Their offense has always been pretty decent under him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you got him, he could fix the shit in offense with Odell and Jarvis and Baker and all them. Get them back to where they should be.
They need a hard-nosed coach that can really get on the players. And because the Browns are so disorganized, they had no compatibility. They had no, what am I looking for? They had no
cohesion,
organization. Yep, organization. They were very undisciplined. Like, they're just a mess under Freddie Kitchens, and they just need to find the coach that is the furthest from him.
Plus, I heard under Freddie Kitchens, they would run plays throughout the week to practice before games, but when it came to the games, the plays were completely different than they practiced.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
So they're like, okay, you see this great play that you guys practiced on all week, and it would actually work out pretty well because it works your strengths. Fuck that. We're not using it. We're going to use this one, which doesn't work at all, and you've only practiced it maybe 2-3 times at maximum.
Yep.
Have you seen...
They're just an absolute mess.
Have you guys seen the video? It's from Baker Mayfield's rookie year. It's like Freddie Kitchen goes up and like starts like scratching his beard or something when Baker's on the bench, and Baker's like, that guy's a fucking idiot.
Yep, I saw that, and that just.
I mean, that just kind of.
No. He's got a point.
Yeah, he's got a point. I think that just that's like sums up Freddie Kitchens basically from his own quarterback.
So. He should have been fired. I'm happy Jimmy hasn't fired him, but I'm just worried they're gonna hire Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, it's just gonna fuck it up again because the Browns.
Honestly, Freddie Kitchens should have been fired after wearing that Pittsburgh started shirt.
Yes, he should have been.
That was completely uncalled for.
I would have called his ass and been like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't say you're the head coach. Like, if you were a fan, sure you can wear that, but you're the head coach of the Browns. Exactly. You let this happen.
Exactly.
If you discipline, because Myles Garrett in his first season, when they were under Greg Williams and Hugh Jackson, he didn't do anything.
Mm-mm.
This year he's become a little bit dirtier of a player, and then of course the helmet hit, which he's the last person on earth I ever thought would do it, just because he's always a quiet guy. He always revered.
Yeah.
Like when they drafted him, I'm like, they got a good one.
Yeah. I guess things get intense on the football field,
and
but I don't think that would have happened if there was accountability and discipline in the Browns locker room last year.
Yeah,
agreed.
I think it was because of Freddie Kitchens. That's why that happened.
Yeah,
I think if you had a real head coach who would have disciplined their players and keep them all together and not let them do their own shit and get like frustrated, would that shoving match happen? Maybe, but would he have? Use the helmet to try and kill the motherfucker?
Definitely
no.
Not. I predicted this like before the season started. Like there was so much hype surrounding the Browns, but I'm like, they're not going to do well because Freddie Kitchens is the first-time head coach.
Exactly, I knew.
He's never had any experience. He's not going to be able to hold all the big personalities together.
And he definitely did not.
Oh, no way. Their whole team was just falling apart immediately.
Odell was asking to get traded every week.
Yep.
Everything.
Juice was like the only one I would say he still complained because he was like, what the fuck is going on? Which makes sense.
I mean, Nick Chubb did good this season.
Yeah, Nick Chubb, he put in the hard work. He was like, I'm out here, I'm trying to
He's in the Pro Bowl.
And then, of course, Baker, who is a, let's say, flamboyant personality, or like he's an out there kind of guy. He's not someone to keep to himself.
He's got a mouth.
Yeah, he's gonna get frustrated, and he's gonna keep running his mouth and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
is
and
happening?
that's just who he is, and he needs a head coach that can kind of reel that in at least a little bit.
Yeah, and at least try and do it to where you're helping him rather than hurting him.
Yeah, because Baker Mayfield's not a guy that's gonna study film. Like he's more of a Brett Favre.
He's a gunslinger. He's a gunslinger who runs his mouth a lot, and
he's not like Peyton Manning. He's not gonna study film constantly and
No.
all that. He's gonna get out there and he's gonna, just take what the defense gives him. And that's a problem if you don't have good play calling because, he's not gonna be studying the defense as hard as he should be.
Mm-hmm. And your players aren't going to be open if they don't know what routes they're running because you didn't run those routes with them. Hence why Odell and Juice were rarely open.
Yeah.
So, will the Browns hire some dumbass as their head coach? Probably. Because they're the Browns, and that's just how they work.
And Jimmy Haslam.
Yep. They won't win a playoff game until that man sells the team.
No, they won't.
Or dies.
If Dan Snyder wasn't owner, we'd be talking about how Jimmy Haslam is the worst owner in the league.
And Dan Snyder actually did something correct for once in his entire career. He fired everyone in Washington, and then he hired Ron Rivera, which, in my opinion, is a great hire. And then he told Ron, apparently he went to Ron, he said, you know what? Do whatever the fuck you want. I want you to build this team, and I'm going to stay out of it. And I was like, holy shit, is this like the Mr. Scrooge story? Is Dan Snyder gone through an epiphany? What is happening?
He might have.
This is not Dan Snyder. What have you done with him? The Dan Snyder I'm
Maybe
used
he's-
to is Mr. Schneider. I own the Redskins, and he would do what I want. Not, go
Yeah.
build me a team and win me some football games.
All right, is that?
I think that's
I think
that.
I think that is that. Everyone, thank you for stopping by our podcast. Look out for our upcoming episode next week. And thanks for watching or listening.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.